Welcome to CultureAlley Spanish. Hola, this is Español Lesson 17. Let's revise basic numbers that we learned in the last lesson. 0 translates to cero. 1 becomes uno or una. 2 is dos. 3 becomes tres. 4 will be cuatro. 5 is cinco. 6 becomes seis. 7 is translated as siete. 8 will be ocho. 9 becomes nueve. And 10 is diez. Let's further look at the numbers from 11 to 19. 11 will become once. 12 is doce. 13 becomes trece. 14 will be catorce. 15 is translated as quince. 16 is dieciséis. 17 becomes diecisiete. 18 will be dieciocho. 19 is translated as diecinueve. Great! Do you remember that translation of numbers from 16 to 19 follows a similar pattern? Yes, that is dieci plus the number in the unit place. For 16, there is an additional accent mark on E in seis. Let's look at the translation of numbers from 20 to 29. 20 will become veinte. Can you recall that the numbers after 20 are translated as veinte plus units number in Spanish? Make a note of the additional accent mark for numbers ending in 2, 3, and 6 while combining them to form numbers from 21 to 29. Let's go through them. 1 becomes uno or una, and 21 becomes veintiuno or veintiuna. 2 is dos, and 22 will be veintidós, with an accent mark. 3 becomes tres, and 23 is veintitrés. 4 will be cuatro, and 24 is veinticuatro. 5 is cinco, and 25 is translated as veinticinco. Moving on, 6 is seis, and 26 will be veintiséis. 7 is translated as siete, and 27 is veintisiete. 8 will be ocho, and 28 will be veintiocho. 9 becomes nueve, and 29 becomes veintinueve. Great! The numbers at tens place get translated as following. 30 translates to treinta. 40 will be cuarenta. 50 will become cincuenta. 60 is sesenta. Furthermore, 70 will be setenta. 80 is translated as ochenta. And 90 is noventa. Good! Do you remember that the numbers after 30 are formed on a similar pattern? Spanish for tens plus E plus Spanish for units place. Let's have a look at some numbers. 1 is uno or una, and 31 translates to treinta y uno. 2 is dos, and 42 becomes cuarenta y dos. 3 is tres, and 53 will be cincuenta y tres. 4 will be cuatro, and 64 is sesenta y cuatro. Great! Moving on, 5 is cinco, and 75 will be setenta y cinco. 6 is seis, and 86 is translated as ochenta y seis. 7 is translated as siete, and 97 becomes noventa y siete. 8 will be ocho, and 98 will become 98. 9 becomes 9, and 99 will be 99. Awesome! Today we will learn how to ask and tell time. Whenever one is conversing, asking and telling time is often useful, whether fixing appointments or planning a party. Today we will learn how to ask and tell time in Spanish and learn phrases like it's 1 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock, and many more. So let's get started. Let's look at the translation for the time of day. Time translates to hora. Can you try that? Hora. Good. We now know that time is referred to as hora. It is also good to note here that hora also means hour. Now let's learn how to say time of the day. We have seen the translation of time, which is hora. Of translates to de. Masculine form of the is translated as el. So, of the together become de el, which changes to del when contracted. When de or of and el or masculine the come together, they are contracted or joined together to form a single word, del. Try that, please. Del. Good. Always remember, of is de. The in masculine form is el. Of the will therefore be de el, which on contraction becomes del. That is, the two e's get together and convert to just one. So remember, of the for masculine subjects is del. Great! Now, day, as we already know, translates to dia. Hence, of the day will translate to del dia. Let's now look at the time of the day. Time translates to hora. The time of the day is translated as la hora del día. Can you try that? La hora del día. Great! Let's now learn how to ask time. What time is it is translated as ¿qué hora es? Can you try saying that? ¿Qué hora es? Note that the pronoun it is omitted here. We just saw what time is it becomes ¿qué hora es? You may question the use of ser, that is es, versus estar in this expression. This is an exception to the use of ser. Even though asking and telling time refer to a temporary situation, we always use ser for expressions of time. Now that you know how to ask what time it is, let's learn how to tell what time it is. The basic way of telling time is to use the singular form of ser, to be, which is es. For 1 o'clock and for other times we use the plural form, son, which is then followed by feminine form of the, and then the number which represents the time. So, it will be form of ser, followed by feminine form of the, followed by the number you want to use for telling the hour. Good! For telling time, we always use the feminine form of the definite article the, which is la. We use singular form la with 1 o'clock and plural form las with other times. Let's have a look at how we say it's 1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock translates to es la una. Note that the pronoun it is not translated here. Una means one, so we use singular form of ser and feminine form of the. So, it becomes es la una. Can you say that? Es la una. Very good. So did you get the structure right? 1 o'clock translates to es la una. We use es, which is the singular form of ser, followed by la, which is the feminine form of the, followed by una, which means one. Now let's try saying it's 2 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock is translated as son las dos. Try that, please. Son las dos. Great. Looking at the structure again, we use plural form of ser here, which is son, as we are saying two, followed by las, which is plural feminine form of the, and in the end, dos, which means two. Again, note that the pronoun it is not translated. So, it becomes son las dos. Very nice. Note that even though in English we say it's 1 o'clock or it's 2 o'clock, in Spanish it literally translates to is the one or are the two. So remember that to tell time we use es or son plus la or las plus number. Remember that es la translates to is the with singular number, that is 1. Son las becomes are the with plural numbers like 2, 3, and so on. Let's revise what we've learned. It's 1 o'clock translates to es la una. It's 2 o'clock becomes son las dos. Good. To start telling time, you will need to build your vocabulary and learn basic numbers. Let's have a look at them again. Let's revise basic numbers. We'll start with numbers 0 to 10. 0 translates to cero. 1 becomes uno or una. 2 is dos. 3 is translated as tres. 4 will be cuatro. 5 becomes cinco. 6 translates to seis. 7 becomes siete. 8 translates to ocho. 9 is nueve. 10 becomes diez. Great job! Do you remember that uno is shortened to un? When it immediately precedes a masculine noun, un and una are used as indefinite articles. The indefinite article a has the masculine form as un and feminine form as una. For example, un perro, which means a dog, and dog as we all know to be male. All right, it's time for a quiz. How do we translate it's 4 o'clock? Will it be es la cuatro? Or will it be son las cuatro? Or will it be son la cuatro? It's 4 o'clock will be son las cuatro. Did you get that right? How do we say it's 6 o'clock? Do we say it as son las cinco? Or son las seis? Or son las siete? We say it's 6 o'clock as son las seis. Hope you got that one right. The numbers might seem overwhelming right now, but you will learn as we practice. Let's now try some examples for telling time and add AM and PM to make it clearer. Let's have a look at the translations of AM and PM. AM translates to de la mañana, whereas PM becomes de la tarde or de la noche. De la literally means of the. De la mañana means of the morning. De la tarde means of the afternoon. And de la noche means of the night. Try saying de la mañana. De la mañana. Now try de la tarde. De la tarde. Very good. And finally, try de la noche. De la noche. Great. Morning is usually till lunchtime, that is till 2 p.m. So we can say de la mañana till then. Afternoon is counted from lunchtime, that is from 2 p.m. till about 7 p.m. We can say de la tarde during that period, past which one can start saying de la noche. Let's now learn how to tell time with AM and PM, like it's 6 a.m., it's 7 a.m., etc. It's 6 a.m. translates to son las 6 de la mañana. Try saying that. Son las 6 de la mañana. Good. As we read, it's 6 gets translated to son las 6. And for AM, we use de la mañana. So we translate it as son las 6 de la mañana. Note that son las 6 de la mañana literally means are the 6 of the morning. Let's see the translation of it's 7 a.m. It's 7 a.m. translates to son las 7 de la mañana. Can you say that? Son las 7 de la mañana. Great! The literal meaning of son las 7 de la mañana is are the 7 of the morning. Moving on, let's look at it's 3 p.m. It's 3 p.m. becomes son las 3 de la tarde. Since we have used p.m. here, we use de la tarde, which means of the afternoon. Try saying that, please. Son las 3 de la tarde. Note that son las 3 de la tarde literally means are the 3 of the afternoon. Let's have a look at it's 8 p.m. When we refer to the time of night, we use de la noche. So, it's 8 p.m. will become son las 8 de la noche. Try that. Son las 8 de la noche. Very good. Note that son las 8 de la noche literally means are the 8 of the night. Let's revise what we have learned so far. It's 1 a.m. translates to es la 1 de la mañana. It's 2 p.m. becomes son las 2 de la tarde. And it's 8 p.m. becomes son las 8 de la noche. Perfect. Now we know how to tell time by the hour. But what if we have to say it is 2:15 or it is 3:45? We will need to learn more numbers so we can talk about minutes as well. If you understand numbers from 0 to 29, then the rest can all be derived from them. While telling time in English, we often say 2:15, which is 15 minutes past 2. This is called after the hour, as some minutes have passed after 2. 3:45, which is 15 minutes to 4, is called before the hour, as there are some minutes till 4. We follow the same pattern in Spanish. For telling time after the hour, we will use the particle y, which means and. And for telling time before the hour, we will use the particle menos. The meaning of menos is minus or less. All right, if we used a pattern of after and before the hour, we basically only need to know numbers from 0 to 29. So let's look at the remaining numbers. We already learned the translation of numbers 11 to 19. We will now take a look at the translation of numbers 11 to 19. 11 becomes once. 12 becomes doce. 13 becomes trece. 14 is catorce. Good. Next is 15. 15 translates to quince. 16 will become 16. 17 gets translated as 17. 18 is 18 in Spanish. 19 becomes 19. Let's move further and revise numbers from 20 to 29 once again. 20 translates to 20. 21 becomes 21 or 21. 22 becomes 22. 23 is translated as 23. 24 will become 24. 25 is 25 in Spanish. 26 translates to 26. 27 is translated as 27. 28 will become 28, and 29 is 29 in Spanish. We are now acquainted with basic numbers, so let's try saying 215. 215 literally translates as 2 and 15. We saw that 215 is literally translated to 2 and 2:15. Since it means 15 minutes past 2, that is after the hour, we use the particle y. It's 2:15 translates to son las 2:15. Say that, please. Son las 2:15. Note that 15 translates to 15. Literally, son las 2:15 means is the 2 and 15. 15 is also equal to 1/4 or quarter of an hour. Quarter translates to cuarto. Hence, 2:15 is more commonly translated as son las 2:15, which means is the 2 and quarter. So now you know that it's 2:15 is son las 2:15. Please note that quarter is cuarto, while 4 is cuatro. Notice the similarity in spellings of both. There is a very slight difference. Cuarto is C-U-A-R-T-O, and cuatro is C-U-A-T-R-O. Difference is in R and T. It's TR in cuatro and RT in cuarto. So remember, for time after the hour, use E. If you want to additionally say AM and PM, you may add de la mañana or de la tarde or de la noche after telling the time. Let's try saying it's 2:15 a.m. It's 2:15 a.m. translates to son las 2:15 de la mañana. Did you get that? Son las 2:15 de la mañana. Literally, it means is the 2 and 15 of the morning. Next is 1:25. It's 1:25 is translated as es la 1:25. Say that. Es la 1:25, where 25 translates to 25. Note that es la 1:25 literally means is the 1 and 25. Let's see another one. It's 1:30 translates to es la 1:30. Can you say that? Es la 1:30. Note that although 30 translates to 30, we used media as 30 is the middle of the hour. Now let's try and say at 1:30. At 1:30 translates to a la 1:30. Try saying that. A la 1:30. Good. Note that at translates to a, and we used media as 30 is the middle of the hour. Great. It's quiz time again. How do we translate it's 3:20? The options are son las 3:20, Second option is son las 3:20. And the third option is es la 3:20. It's 3:20 becomes son las 3:20. Did you get that right? Now try it's 4:30. Will you say son las 3:30 or son las 4:30 or son las 4:15? It's 4:30 will become son las 4:30. How did you do there? How do we say at 4:30? Do we say it as son las 3:30 or as son las 4:30 or as a las 4:30? We say at 4:30 as a las 4:30. Hope you got that correct. Always remember that at translates to a, and e is used for time after the hour. For example, 3:20 is 3:20. Can you recall that to indicate half hour, we use media, and we use cuarto to indicate quarter hour? So, for 30, we use media, and for 15, we use cuarto. Good. All right, now let's try time before the hour. Let's see it by taking an example. 3:45 translates to 4 minus 15. The particle menos will be used in this case, which means minus or less. Even though you say it is 10 until 1, if you were to say 12:50, but while translating it to Spanish, it will read as es la 1 menos 10. Is the 1 minus 10 becomes es la 1 menos 10, and not es la 10 menos 1. It's 4:45 translates to son las 5 menos cuarto. Try saying that. Son las 5 menos cuarto. Good. Note that son las 5 menos cuarto literally means is the 5 minus 15. Let's see another one. It's 3:45 becomes son las 4 menos cuarto. Can you say that? Son las 4 menos cuarto. The literal meaning of son las 4 menos cuarto is the 4 minus 15, or 4 minus quarter. Do you remember that in son las 4 menos cuarto, 4 translates to cuatro, while quarter becomes cuarto? Now try translating it's 3:50. It's 3:50 translates to son las 4 menos 10. Note that literally son las 4 menos 10 means is the 4 minus 10. Great. All right, one more. It's 3:55 becomes son las 4 menos 5. Try saying that. Son las 4 menos 5. The literal meaning of son las 4 menos 5 is the 4 minus 5. Time for some more quizzes. It's 1:45 will be son las 4 menos 1. Or will it be son las 2 menos cuarto? Or es la 1:15? It's 1:45 will be translated as son las dos menos cuarto. Try translating it's 1:15. Will you translate it as son las 4:01 or son las 1:45 or as es la 1:15? It's 1:15 becomes es la 1:15. Hope you got that correct. How will you say it's 2:10? Will it be son las 10:02 or son las 2 menos 10? Or will it be son las 2:10? It's 2:10 will become son las 2:10. Were you good at this one? Let's have a few more quizzes. How will you translate it's 2:50? Will you translate it as son las 10 menos 3? Or son las 3:10? Or son las 3 menos 10? It's 2:50 will be translated as son las 3 menos 10. How will you say what time is it? Will you say it as ¿qué hora es? Or ¿qué hora son? Or ¿qué horas son? What time is it will become ¿qué hora es? Did you get that right? The translation of AM is it de la mañana, or is it de la tarde, or is it de la noche? The translation of AM is de la mañana. Will it's 6:05 p.m. become son las 6:05 de la tarde, or will it be son las 6:05 de la mañana, or will it be son las 5:06 de la tarde? It's 6:05 p.m. will become son las 6:05 de la tarde. Hope you did well. Let's go through what we have seen so far. It's 1 o'clock translates to es la 1. It's 1 a.m. becomes es la 1 de la mañana. It's 2 p.m. will become son las 2 de la tarde. It's 9 p.m. is translated as son las 9 de la noche. At 1:30 is a la 1:30. It's 2:15 becomes son las 2:15. And it's 4:45 translates to son las 5 menos cuarto. Very good. All right, it's now time for the Cultural Leaf of the Day. Today, we will talk about punctuality at formal and informal situations. In Spain and Spanish-speaking areas in South America, people are generally quite punctual if they are meeting for a formal event, but one can expect slight delays even in meetings. For informal gathering or parties, arriving 30 minutes late is perfectly accepted. In fact, most guests will typically arrive late. La hora nica, or Nicaragua time, is a very interesting thing. If someone tells you a dinner is to begin at 7 p.m., they really mean not before then. There's an expression common in Nicaragua, hay más tiempo que vida, which means there's more time than life, so why hurry? In the next lesson, we will learn about days and dates. We hope you enjoyed your lesson today. See you at the alley for the next one.